Descent into Darkness, a Call of Cthulhu campaign.
Hello and welcome back to Deathwatch's Call of Cthulhu campaign, Descent into Darkness, Season 4. This is episode 26. I am Travis, and I will be your keeper today, and we return to the desert just north of the village. Was this Zamak? I forget already because I don't have it on my map. Battling some Bedu, and before we return to it, let's get an introduction from our investigators.
I'm Brandon, playing Bartholomew Wentworth, having the time of his life.
I'm Chris, playing Charles Stanton, worried about losing some men here.
And I'm John, playing Joseph Thompson.
All right, so the very last thing that had happened was Ray Flanagan had gunned down some more Bedouin raider from the group, trying to flee to the south towards the village.
Is that an alien? What is this?
It's just effects.
A UFO?
You can mess with them. They're over, which one is it? Oh yeah, on the left-hand tab there, you see the FX. You have little...
Yeah, but I'm not going to mess with it.
Because you're not a child.
Because I'm not childish like you guys. I'm an adult.
You're an adult?
And you throw it on the ground.
You guys got me distracted by the effects. All right, yeah, so they'd been gunned down, and he broke up that little cluster, so now they're just running in a panic away from the sustained fire of the Vickers machine gun. And we ended on Jackson's turn, looking at a little, at the distances here. For him, it's a very difficult shot. He doesn't do the scope. So I suppose Jackson is asking you, Mr. Stanton, so what's the plan now? We move out of here and pursue him, or try to get these guys back to the village?
So what is it? We got these guys here and here. The two that are on the map still are fairly small groups.
He noted... Jackson had informed you that he heard those guys, and when he pointed it out, you heard the gunfire going off to the east, just on the other side of that range of mountains. There are hills, rocky hills.
Yeah, I'll turn to him and I'll be like, first we got to take care of the stragglers that are here. Then I plan to make light pursuit of the larger group that fled off to the southwest, I believe.
Right.
If we can't find them, we'll just have to pick up... Flanagan and Marco and head back to town. But, yeah, so that pass has me worried. And if he's asking about that, that's what I'll tell him.
Making it that way.
Yeah.
He says, all right, boss have gun, will travel.
No, I'm his boss now, too. Awesome.
Which brings us to Mr. Wentworth's turn. You guys had been racing along that ridge. No scoping the Bedouin raiders down below.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
Well, that's still what we're going to do. Right, because I don't want them to be able to get behind
I think
Stanton, so I think we were going to move to this,
to about there, so you're in the process of doing that. You'll finalize your movement there after the end of this round.
Yeah.
But you still have an action that you can take.
All right, so what's my... Because my last shot didn't have...
Yeah, at the rate you were traveling, you didn't have the opportunity to use your scope.
Right.
And you had a bonus because of Mr. Thompson's, I believe, critical stealth roll, or was it yours? Now you don't have that bonus, and they are at your hard range with the current weapon you're using, about 140 yards away.
Okay.
Down the slope, or down the bottom of that dune.
So it's a hard shot with a penalty?
Yeah, then the penalty for your horrible exhaustion. Biting edge is dulled a bit by cocaine use.
Still a hit.
Well done.
Look at me. I'm a sharp shooter.
You are a good shooter.
You gotta watch out for that one.
Let me do my hit location so I can hit him in the left hand. Here. Where am I? There it is.
Yeah, a couple weeks back, I tried to get Travis to give me odds on where I hit someone. He said that it wasn't good enough. That it was almost a sure thing to be.
Right arm.
Oh, right arm. Very rare.
Mixing it up.
Right arm might almost be the rarest of the hits now.
Yeah, any of these major wound type hits basically, for all intents and purposes, takes a combatant out of combat. Of course, there'll be many wounded lying around once all is said and done.
That's knife work.
So, again, you see they're in the process of retreating, so some are like leading camels, a few are trying to mount, and that's where the juicy opportunities is the one getting back on their camels, so you just gun one down. Now they are in a kind of retreat here. They have a very difficult shot to make if they're going to hit at double penalty.
You said they're like 140 yards away?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll shout. Can I shout in their language to surrender, and they'll be
Throw down your
well?
weapons? Yeah.
Just in case anyone want to give up.
Anyone wants to be dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
Because I'll give them to that town, and I don't think they'll treat them well, but it's not my problem.
Let's see how you do with an intimidate roll. Add a bonus die to it.
A regular intimidate?
Yeah.
Where are you, intimidate?
I mean, I guess I could see what...
That's an interesting question. Because darkness, not being unable to see someone wouldn't make them less intimidating. In fact, being able to see someone might make them less intimidating.
Fail.
Yes, so they respond with some group fire here in the direction of Nigel Stedford and the two Bandars.
Die infidel.
Yep.
You don't belong here in our desert.
Well, that's the worst they can get. So they just miss. They're, taking brush shots, basically. Sand shots. I don't know what you'd call them.
Yeah.
And the other group that is under the threat of Ray Flanagan is in total disarray, and you just see them streaming in all kinds of directions. Let's see how Nigel Stedford does here. Hard shot with penalty. No need to roll. Now for Bandar Haughty. Same thing. Hard shot with penalty.
Man, you're
getting close.
Yeah, you're going to have someone pop in the...
Ali al-Jafari and his Bani Yam Bedouin continue to ride their camels in pursuit of this larger group that is about to escape, which finally brings us to Mr. Thompson. You have the similar situation as Mr. Wentworth, where you're at the range you are at with your rifle. It's a hard difficulty, and you have one penalty, I believe, for... Maybe you don't have the penalty. Are you taking cocaine as well?
No.
Yeah, you don't have any exhaustion levels. Right. Okay. Which brings us to the end of the combat turn. Let me resolve some movement here. Okay. And you guys end up there. All right, so command and maneuver. We'll start with you, Mr. Wentworth. What's your plan for this new combat turn?
So how many are left now? Because there were...
You see like half a dozen shapes moving into the darkness.
Okay.
They're in like a full flight now.
All right.
So you have maybe another round to pepper them up before they'll just be able to outpace you.
So the plan then is to move to where they are now at the mouth of that pass.
Okay.
And then take whatever shots we can get, but that'll be the end of the pursuit because that pass is where they would go to get behind Stanton. So we'll get to there, and then if they keep going, then we'll just let them go. We're not going to be able to catch them.
And Mr. Stanton.
How many men do I have standing?
4 have no wounds, 3 are wounded, and Mr. Jackson Elias is in fine shape.
I'm going to leave that one that's working the Morse code to keep Flanagan on target. I'm going to leave him there. I'm going to take the 4 that are unwounded and Mr. Jackson.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to move them...
Through this pass, like here?
Well, just... not through it, because I'm not sure if they are actually coming, but I was kind of going to, slightly higher in, overlooking the pass. It's that way we have, height and cover on them, is what I'm... And that way, if they come down that way, then we ambush them there.
Have we lost sight of that Bedouin group that was with us, the Ali?
No, they're down to the southwest.
If you looked for them, you might be able to see them
They were chasing a group?
Yeah, they were going after that big group.
Okay.
They were trying to hem them back into the machine gunning, but they're somewhat safe from it for now. All right, so we'll do 3 rounds for this combat turn, at the end of which Mr. Stanton... Well, you can try a climb roll for yourself, and you can either end up in it in the middle of this combat turn, or without the climb roll, you'll be there by the end. It's up to you and your skills, and Jackson will follow your lead, obviously, along with your men.
Climb of a 20. Yeah, sure.
There's no particular advantage or disadvantage, save from your exhaustion.
I'm trying to think.
If you want to risk the fumble or not.
Oh, I think I have a penalty on it, right?
Yeah. Well, I can check if we want to, because you also took some cocaine, right?
Well, I don't think I've stopped since I started because of the penalties.
I thought you had one village holiday where you got like golden, no?
No, because you said that coming off of it is a problem, so he's just never stopped once he started.
Okay, yeah. So you're currently sitting at the 1 level, so yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have to do it the slow way.
Okay. Slow and safe.
Yeah.
Wins the race.
Because I'm not going to risk fumbling, break my freaking leg.
All right. So Bandar al-Jadi has a pretty long shot. So they're not doing anything really but looking for opportunities of which they see none.
Yeah, maybe the order to them should be to cover that pass, to move up to the big draw.
Right.
And hold that position.
So like right here.
Yeah, like a little more. But yeah, that area. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll start moving up there.
And Thompson and I will give pursuit, take pot shots.
All right, Mr. Stanton, you do have an action, but you don't. You have some targets to the south that you could potentially... I don't know what your maximum scoped range is.
I don't either.
It's pretty much doubled each of the base ones. So if it's 110 for... So I think it's 330, so you could do up to 660 at the extreme for 660, and it'd be 440 for hard. So I think that would be a hard shot by the looks of it. Or no, it would be in the extreme.
Yeah. Yeah, we can give a retreating shot, see if I blow up the rifle. I don't have penalty on that because it's... Well, no, I do. I don't have double penalty, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Not bonus, penalty. 2.
You didn't. Goodness gracious.
Well, no, I didn't.
Oh, no penalties yet?
No, because it's extreme.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. Well, it was worth a shot, as they say. You hear the Vickers open up again.
Well, like, part of the thing with that would be keeping the appearance that we're still there.
Right. They can't just rest on their laurels.
Yeah. What the hell? There we go.
They have good old Ray Flanagan earning his half pay.
Mm-hmm.
Did they drop in range for him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I think he's essentially there's only a couple of strays running off, trying to hide. One's ducking behind rocks here. Maybe gets entirely covered. But yeah, they're of no threat. Just 2 left from that group.
All
right, you hear Jackson's breathing behind you as he's clambering up this rocky hill after you, along with your other men, which brings us to Mr. Wentworth.
All right, so I guess I'll take a shot at somebody if I got one.
Yeah, I think at the current thing you kept a similar range, actually a little bit better. So it's at the normal level.
Normal with a penalty?
Yeah, you're still moving. So yeah, normal with a penalty.
Let me use 3 luck.
Okay. And at this point, most of them have gone to getting mounted. So again, you pick another target and you hit them in the...
Yeah, let me...
Dun, dun, dun. Left arm. Abdomen.
Nice.
There you go.
That's where you're supposed to hit people.
I should see what Ray chewed up here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, they still are a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Got penalties still. Ew. All right, Mr. Wentworth and Mr. Thompson, give me a luck roll.
Duh.
Oh, I forgot to do this. Okay, so we got... All right, so you both failed. So, Mr. Thompson, the damage coming your way is 7, but I believe you're armored up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the same for you. So, yeah, you guys absorb. It's 7 against you, Mr. Thompson, and only 3 against you, where it would have been, like a graze. But, you hear the bullet go right past you.
Yeah.
You even kind of get some sort of sensation of it, like impacting or diverting the course of it, where it's supposed to hit you, like both you guys. But then it goes spinning off into the desert.
This was the people were chasing shit.
Yeah, they fired some shots back your way.
At least it wasn't a mortar.
How far are these guys? Hard. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right, so these guys, they're having, Bandar's having some issue with his weapon, with that Mauser of his. And Nigel, where was he at? I think I got him on the reload one. So basically, you ran out of ammunition. Ends the combat round. All right, Mr. Stanton, you're going to try to take another shot at that dwindling group there. There's 2 of them. You can see one streaming across the desert, and you can spot one in your scope ducking behind a rock.
While climbing, I'll just take this pot shot at... Yeah, sure. Might as well.
Okay.
Well, no. No, I don't want to give away that we're now moving.
All right.
What is it? I don't know if I get to declare what my guy would be doing on this turn or not yet, but he would inform Flanagan that group's
done for,
and then start telling them about the 16 that went to the southwest.
Okay.
And this is like this is what he's doing over the course of multiple turns probably, and that group C or whatever we're calling them would be in pursuit. So check your shots.
Well, in any case, there's a pause in the fire from the Vickers where, you don't have an exact count, but he's been going pretty sustained for a while. He's probably switching the belt for this round. Jackson again behind you, bringing us to Wentworth.
What's going on with Thompson? He doesn't get to go?
Did I skip your turn, Thompson? I'm sorry.
Go ahead and do yours.
I think I got excited.
Getting to shoot him?
Yeah.
Did I have a penalty at this range?
It's at the normal difficulty with the penalty. Or maybe you don't have one, right? Because you don't have you're unfazed by the exhaustion.
Oh, all right. Then hard success.
Okay.
It was 10 damage to the left arm.
Blow it off at the elbow. You got that big rifle.
Yeah.
Henry rifle.
Jeffrey
rifle.
Yeah, for some reason I want to call it a Henry too.
This ain't Henry's rifle.
This is Jeffrey's rifle. All right, now back to you, Mr. Wentworth.
Well, I guess there's no reason not to take one last shot, right?
I gotta hit Control R instead of...
So it's regular, but with a penalty. Still a hit. 13 damage to Bright Hand. Come on.
He was whipping his camel stick up ahead, and boom. Well, he was trying to stop your, he's like, no, don't shoot anymore, Dad. And you shot through his right hand down his arm, and then it entered, traveled down the bone and entered his body cavity. Because it's a 22 you got, right? But they start actually shouting for mercy, They're still running.
That was mercy.
But they will neglect to fire and just fully commit to whipping those camels in terrain that's not really good for their retreat.
Mm-hmm.
The shot's too difficult for the guys you have guarding the draw there.
Yeah.
So they'll hold it. It's getting too risky. Which brings us back to you, Mr. Thompson.
I'll try to take another shot.
It's a good thing I can't understand the damn
hard
they're
success.
Nice.
The chest that time.
Regardless, though, their screams will stay with me for a lifetime.
Screams sustain me.
Yeah, that
Will
one
sustain me till we get to the lost city.
in the back, and it exits out his chest, and he slumps over the camel, which just couches, and it's just a shape in the desert there. But yeah, there's only a couple of them left. And basically it's Charles Stanton's. You still can take another shot if you want.
No, we'll get to our location and hunker down.
Take a look here. See how that reload's going. Okay, it's got it almost ready.
Well, how much is it for me to get a 20 millimeter anti-tank? Like really, like when we get back to civilization.
I think the cost that they don't ever list the costs on them because they don't want, I don't know, people to assume they can go to the gun store and buy it.
I'm in Africa. I can,
Right.
I can find.
But they do have the stats for the 20 millimeters.
Awesome.
All right, Mr. Wentworth. 2 shapes fleeing in the desert.
Yeah, so we'll get to that, the mouth of that particular draw, and that's good there. And then we'll shout to Stanton on the other side. You know, this battle's won. 2 of them fleeing north. They're not coming back.
All right, and brings us to Mr. Thompson.
Is they're at a range now?
No, not quite. You still have another round you can fight. Did you want to take another shot, Mr. Wentworth?
Oh, if they're still within range, I'll take it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll them out.
Oh. Nope.
Another hit. 11 damage to
So I gotta leave one alive to tell the tale.
chest.
All right.
Dude, with 1,000 more of these Bedouin out here, I don't want any of them telling the story.
Yeah, so there's just one who has hopped down from as a camel and abandoned it. It's too slow on the rocky ascension.
Running away.
He's just running, yeah. Sheer terror, which ends this combat turn. And I suppose probably ends the combat. Your spotter doesn't have sight lines on that larger group to the southwest, but Ali al-Jafari was able to keep an eye on him, sort of, but they've wheeled around and they're heading back your way.
All right.
Just because they're outnumbered, they're not going to go fight him like that without the support. So, yeah. So you have a pursuit opportunity is where you're at right now. Whether you guys go after that one that you're nearby. There's a couple down to the south in these rocks. What do you want to do with them?
So this is the prize anyway. This is the grazing land, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to chase that one to the north. I don't think he's coming back. But we should, and town is south, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we should circle around and
should we try to collect the mortars if there are?
Yeah, I mean, when we're finally done, we should. But
well, we should collect about everything that works.
Yeah, the one real chase opportunity besides stragglers is to see if you could go with Ali al-Jafari after the larger group where there was still about 20 of them left. But, given the circumstances now that they've got their camels underneath them and they're in the open desert to the west there,
yeah,
you guys aren't good enough riders. We can still do it, though. It's just, they have a higher skill advantage at it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any point to that.
Regardless of what we do, Stanton, once he hears Thompson, he'll give it a bit, but then he'll go down and he'll order his remaining men to take the wounded back to town and collect Flanagan along the way and get him safe, and Marco safe if need be. And then if we decide to pursue anyone, Stanton will remain with the group and do so.
Okay. There's also knife work. There's a lot of wounded Bedou crawling in the desert, bleeding out slowly. Mm-hmm. And you wanted to take a look at, you're basically looting bodies at this stage?
Yeah, we'll take whatever's usable.
Camels are a big one. Yeah, weapons, ammo would probably be an even bigger one.
All right, give me a group luck roll, Mr. Thompson.
You're a weight and anchor on our cement shoes.
Hey, it's going.
Okay. So you can find ammo on the bodies that you come across in a similar amount where they would carry, a few. They travel light, so they don't carry, like what a soldier would carry, basically.
Yeah.
They do have enough to fire through what is in their rifle and reload it once. So we'll simulate that with let's do a 10d10 roll from you, Mr. Wentworth. And then they did drop something of you guys could use, but due to that luck roll, it'd be difficult to find. So we'll leave that up to a spot hidden as you're going around doing that. From everybody, we'll put that at the hard level. But we have lots of eyes out here, so I'll roll some other ones too.
That's 57 rounds of ammo.
Okay. And those are for the Lee Enfields.
You said it's a hard spot hidden?
Yeah.
And remember penalties for exhaustion.
Right.
No luck for me.
And camels, I think, was the last big one.
Yeah.
It's like we've lost a couple. We need extra.
Yeah, so roll Mr. Stanton, roll a 3d10 on that front.
22.
Oh.
Nice, Nigel.
Yeah, so there are 22 camels. There are many more than that, but the rest are wounded or dead.
Yeah. Yeah, might as well, we don't have time to preserve any of them, but put the ones down that we can, and we might as well butcher one, take it back, eat good tonight in the town.
Yeah, so there's as you guys are exploring around this draw, which is where most of the dead bodies are concentrated, and along the south to that ridge, Nigel actually finds the kit for one of those Stokes mortars.
Okay.
And it has a D10 worth of shells, if you want to roll that for me, Mr. Thompson.
Nice.
4.
Yep. So Stokes mortar with 4 shells. And Nigel, you guys are kind of gathered here. There's sort of an elation running through, victory running through you. So that if any of you do have a level of despair, I'm not sure anybody does. Let's see, no for Stanton. Looks like all the PCs are happy as a bug in a rug.
Well, of course.
There are a few of the NPCs that have begun to get despair that this will actually, the effects of such an overwhelming victory will actually knock that down a level. Maybe not so much for the Stanton men since they're dealing with wounded, but we'll see how they do. I'll give them a roll to overcome it. But so you have that Stokes mortar, which does use a different skill to fire.
Well, good find, Steadford.
That's one less we have to worry about anyways. I counted 2 the night they attacked the village.
Also, always a good thing to confirm that we were in fact not killing fleeing villagers from the next town and actually Bedouin raiders.
Well, no, Mr. Stanton, you just don't understand their culture. This was villagers. They were doing their spring mortar festival.
Wow. Wasn't it a delight?
And most everybody here is either hardened or maxed out their sand loss for knife work type activities, so we don't have to worry about that. That this is something you've performed many times after a battle, and Stanton's dopamine receptors are burned out, so he feels nothing. If he's even doing it himself. I imagine that's why it would be a bother to him, is because he just has men do that for him.
Sand loss because I have to actually do work. Yeah. Well, Stanton's reached what he likes to call the sweet spot, where he's lost. he's now become acclimated to the harshness of this reality that he currently lives in.
Yeah, so when Ali Al-Jafari returns while you're doing the knife work and gathering up whatnot, he says that the wolves of the desert fled to the west. Shall we pursue them? Christian.
I don't think that's a good idea. We're headed east. I mean, what shot do you think we have to catch them?
A very small chance in the desert. You fight well.
Thank you.
To the two of you. I'm glad I was on your side, basically. But depending on, it might have made it a little worse for you in a sense, depending on how they feel about this defeat. You might have started some sort of honor issue here.
Oh, very well. Could have,
and we'll determine the disposition of the wolves of the desert by a group luck roll, John.
Well, the funny thing about the wolves of the desert is they only come in 3 flavors, and all of them are angrier and angrier.
Nice. Oh, you did it. Well done.
As they fear the dead eyes as much as everybody else now.
It was a well-fought encounter. There was honor.
Yeah, Ollie's looking at the number of dead, which is in the dozens, and he says, but I think the victory was so complete that you may not hear from them, not without a drastically different strategy.
Well, hopefully it doesn't bring them down on your town, but we had to at least boot them out of this section. We need to rest, and we need food for the camels. So,
well, in a few days' time, more of my cousins will arrive, so...
Hopefully they'll have to lick their wounds during that amount of time. All right. It's late, and I want my cot.
Yeah.
And I got men that need patching up.
So it is like early Monday morning by now. This was a night raid. You started either late Sunday night or early Monday morning. And let me move us to a different map. Okay, so going back to the village to try to get as much sleep as you can. Do you plan to account for the loss of sleep and allow for a little bit of laziness for the 27th? Or is it back to work for most of the men in various ways?
It'll be light work. Like basically just keeping eyes out. I won't expect them to do much because there really isn't too much for them to do when we're encamped near a city.
Well, we will do a Constitution roll with all the correct penalties to determine if, after coming down off the battle high, you pick up another level. Let's see how your guys do.
As I succeeded.
Well done.
So what penalty do I got? Just normal Constitution roll, or is it?
I don't think you have any on your Constitution.
Okay.
Because of the cocaine.
That's getting too old for this stuff. But we plan to stay here to negate exhaustion anyway.
You're going to...
couldn't get mortared in the middle of the night.
Coast it out for a day. Yeah, because that does mess up one's holiday.
So yeah, like Stanton will be kind of like walking with his one hand on the small of his back, maybe a slight, not limp, but like favoring a leg. Those bloody rocks were dangerous on the climb. Never do it in the nighttime. Oh, just 24 hours away from retirement. That's what I am. Perpetually.
Okay, so, and you have a few wounded, and you can see, while the victory has improved spirits, it's still taken a physical toll, and the wounding of some of your men seems to maybe not brought morale low, but there's we're in the grindy part of an expedition or warfare where you just got to brace. So everybody in your section looks pretty grim, aside from Ray Flanagan, who
he had a ball.
is very happy.
Just say arms and legs flying up, camel lifted him right up off the desert floor, threw him 30 feet. You better believe it. Marco saw it. You ain't gonna call him a liar.
But let me get also a power roll from the sleeping player characters.
No, all of us?
Yeah, just regular power.
Power's so low. Ooh, no.
Success.
Don't care. How am I gonna wake up with a hungering for colon or something like that? What are you gonna do?
No, so far you haven't really been exposed enough. You've gotten the you're the guy that's been on the other side of a lead barrier type sort of thing, so it's working its slower magic on you. But so we'll give it to Mr. Wentworth with the hard success edging out Mr. Thompson. So you have a dream that night that you're out in the desert, like digging in the desert, Mr. Wentworth. And one of the features of the dream is you're very exhausted the whole time you're doing this, but you seem compelled by some dream logic reason to continue digging. And you reveal a box, an iron box that's small and rusted after a time. And when you open it, that's like when you wake up in the morning, just before the item is revealed. But there is something familiar about the area you were digging in. You think it was nearby that draw that you were just in earlier today.
Yeah.
So make of it what you will. You know that perhaps dreams are more than nothing now, given your encounters with Professor Mueller.
Are we on to the 28th?
No, it's still the 27th.
Right.
This is when you guys
just now on
woke
noon.
Up. Yeah.
Okay. So I will go dig. If it's that powerful of a dream.
It might be a good idea to also take some of the camels and start getting them fed.
Yeah, people
grab the herders.
I'll go with them.
Yeah.
And I'll put out any men. I'll ask for volunteers from them. They'll get hazard or time and a half pay or something.
Yeah, they'll go out, and just taking the camels to its area on its own isn't really going to stress them too much for the day. If something were to happen, that's a little bit different story. But yeah, and it's a different experience for Mr. Thompson and Mr. Wentworth to get a look at the battlefield during the day. You know, you can see the full glory of the aftermath, you know, with the bodies, I suppose, unburied in the desert, you know.
Stinking in the sun.
Yeah. Now, you know, drawing the interest of scavengers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a type of vulture out here. And then they fly off as you approach the area again at that draw. And you're looking at it, you can tell it fits the image you had in your mind while dreaming. It was between two of the slate gray rocky areas, just where the sand starts, and you can start digging. And it's not very long before you come across this small rusted iron box. In fact, the thing that is different and marks the area even more from your dream is it looks like the ground was disturbed there, like it was buried sometime recently, right? Okay. And so you have that small rusted iron box before you.
Yeah. So how deep did I have to dig?
It's about the same as your dream. The difference in your dream is you were doing it with your hands, where you might have brought out a shovel this time.
Spade, yeah.
So it went very quick. It was only like 3 feet down.
Okay.
Something anybody could do in like less than an hour, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just putting this amount in there, and then they put the sand over it.
Okay, so what about this iron box? Do I see anything on the outside of it of interest? Any designs, writing?
No, but it looks of a similar fashion as you've seen these Bedu have, as far as where they would carry stuff in. You know, like this would be something they might carry prized possessions in, or jewelry, or even if they don't wear that jambaya knife at their belt, it would like hold a smaller one in it, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's what it looks like from the outside. It's nondescript, you know. It's made in a village somewhere, in a Bedu village somewhere, by a smith with skill to make simple things like this. But it's unlocked. Nothing.
All right, I guess I'll open it up and see what's inside.
Explosion.
Yeah. So it has a circular obsidian stone like this with this symbol carved in it.
Don't let any of them see it, Wentworth. We'll have more curses called down upon us.
Okay.
You could do a Cthulhu Mythos roll if you have any there.
I don't think I do.
Thompson, assuming Wentworth allows you to be privy to this.
Mm-hmm. What is it, Wentworth?
Yeah, I mean, if he was interested and was over, well, I wouldn't chase him away. I'd chase everybody else away, though.
Okay. Yeah, well, the people you brought with them, which is people to watch herdsmen from Stanton's men, and probably one of the bandars, and then the rest had duties, so they're off moving the camels, which you have to move up the battlefield a little bit, like off map a little bit, to where all this salt brush is growing, because if you remember that map, you could see the discoloration to the east where it went into salt flats, and the grazing fields were there. Grazing fields. No Mythos luck for you.
Nope.
Yeah, obviously that's not a natural inscription on the piece of obsidian. You could do geology or natural world as well.
Well, that ain't natural.
Yeah, it was not
nice.
Quite.
And a hard success on natural world.
This here's carved.
Well, one thing you've noticed going through this area is you don't see any volcanic rock like this, or you haven't seen any. So whoever brought it from a region that had that, right? So it wasn't local, you would think, or at least not this area.
Mm-hmm.
because you haven't seen any obsidian, which, you know, in the Americas you would find it all over the place because it traveled far and wide in the way of arrowheads and knives and what have you. But, you know, there's very little obsidian used here. It's sort of a rare, volcanic rock's kind of rare in the region.
Yeah.
So it is curious in that way, but it doesn't really clue you into anything about it. Okay, Mr. Wentworth, so yes, you just have this curious circular piece of obsidian that fits quite nicely in the palm of your hand with a strange symbol on it, but no sufficient knowledge base to understand its reason for existing. Although you could surmise, I suppose, that it was buried here perhaps by one of these wolves of the desert.
Yeah.
For some reason or another. And you see the peril that you are in, you know, looking from this battle location and back south towards the village. If they'd attacked in that number, you know, with a night raid, it would have flipped the tables. Although given the number disparity, it would have been a lot different, right? You know?
Yeah.
Not being able to use Ray Flanagan to your advantage.
Right. But, yeah, like in all instances, the best decision to make was to attack, which is always true.
Now you've
in all circumstances.
Scattered them to the.
So I'll attack Thompson with this rock.
You don't know what this is.
Was there anyone back at town that had enough skill at digging out bullets to help my men, or are they just?
Yeah, there is some medicine, not the equivalent of Sala, but
it's his fault.
It is. You got perhaps killed some of my men.
Higher than average first aid. I could probably get it all out.
Well, first aid's already been done. Now they have to move on to
actual surgery or the equivalent of it. What passes for surgery out here?
You'd be surprised what I could do with sticks.
Well, let's see how they do. Got 3 wounded.
Nice.
1.
Well, one of those 3 I succeeded at the first aid.
Yeah.
So, who is this? Just random.
This is one of the villagers in. I should probably figure out what that Latakia, who is more akin to something you've been very experienced with, is a village healer, right? So they don't look anything like a modern doctor. They come in with their herbs and their crude implements of surgery, and in this case, they pick the bullet out of your guy that was the worst off.
Okay.
But they offer nothing in the way of, advanced antiseptic methods. So, that's just the concern for all your wounded.
We got a lot of spirits left still, I hope, so we can just douse them with some.
So, yeah, now it's from this stage. It gave that one a few more hit points. Let me check them.
Can I do group fire with medicine and just kind of spread it out?
Yeah, so basically this healer, he just gets them to the point. The reason he couldn't do anything for the other 2 is because he didn't have any of those techniques of which you're ignorant of that would help them heal faster. And he just digs that bullet out and has all of them drink something, if you will allow it. But
yeah, I don't care.
I guess in a meta sense, he didn't fumble it, so he's not going to make it worse off for him.
Oh, it's up to them if they're conscious.
But the one that he did treat looks like he will have the best chance of recovering now. He's only 1 point below getting out of major wound thing. But like I said, now it's just on their constitution and how difficult the travel will be to have them heal.
And I'll ask them at some point, maybe not even today, well, you can continue the journey onward, and perhaps you'll die on the desert, but that'd happen anyway, or you can stay here, if they'll have you, and try to heal up on your own.
They wouldn't dare look like less of the men they are. So they say, no, boss.
Fit as a fiddle, right as rain.
We paid to see this city yesterday, so we're going all the way.
Bonuses.
Okay, so out in the battlefield, Mr. Stedford remarks about how he had heard stories. I'd heard Americans charging out of the trenches in the Great War like madmen, but to see you and Thompson do the same thing, I thought it was just some sort of propaganda. But it was quite foolhardy, you know that. How long can you do that before you get shot down?
In my experience, attacking is always the best way forward.
But don't you think your Cthulhu magic gives you an extreme advantage? Mr. Thompson would have been wounded had that not been the case.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't say that. But yeah, he is, he has a sort of a respectful appraisal of you. You guys had got on well to begin with anyways, but, it's sort of a reappraisal, but also that acknowledgement of something he could never do, not in his dignified English way.
Right.
There is no charging out of the trench. Once one is entrenched, one stays in the trench.
That's the whole point
until
of
the
a
whistle
trench.
blows, and then you go out of the trench. You don't just Leroy Jenkins. They've been holding that line for years. You think you're just going to rush over there?
Well, we
but
did.
I guess you're right.
Yeah. But I'll ask him. He seems like an educated man. I'll show him that stone and see if he has any thoughts on it.
Let's take a look. There's an outside chance he might have seen something like that in his archaeological work, although it's not really in the body of archaeological literature. So we will see. He says no, but he notices the same thing you do, that it's the piece of obsidian marks it from coming from elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it's a curious thing, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. I think I'll keep a hold of it.
It has, I don't know, it evokes fire or something aquatic all at once, I suppose. Perhaps picked up by coastal Bedouin, made its way all the way over here. Unusual. Good keepsake, I would think.
Yeah.
Display it on your mantle to remind you of the time you charged the Bedouin.
Charge the Bedouin.
And then back in the village, Ali Al-Jafari, he does speak a bit of English. Approaches you, Mr. Stanton, and, peace be upon you, he says, as their traditional greeting. Well, he says it in English this time, though.
And upon you, sir.
The whispers in the sands that of a mad group of Christians trying to find the lost city of Irem. I can put together that that's you and your men, I would take it.
It is indeed, sir.
I don't know why I have an English accent. Sorry about that.
As all men should.
Yeah. Well, he says amongst the Bedou, they have sort of a chaperone type thing where strangers who travel in the desert, it's best to carry somebody with them so that other Bani Yam, even though they're all the same tribe, they won't just attack on sight.
I believe the Yemenese king forced such a thing upon Mr. Wentworth, the head of this caravan.
Yes, but the Yemeni you bring with you would just seek to incite other Bedou, I'm sure. They have a low opinion of those who dwell in cities. But as a...
Don't we all?
Agreed. As a gift for your aid in repelling the wolves of the desert, I would send one of mine with you to act as this chaperone. If you are truly traveling to Irem, then you will come across the Almura Bedou, and we have decent relations. Of course, there are other Bani Yam the further east you go. I can do nothing as far as the Sayar, though. They will attack regardless.
Yes.
But I can see he's a quality man with both skills in war and the desert. He would be an aid to you, I'm sure.
I'm more than willing to accept this, and I give my thanks to you. However, there is a simple test that must be performed before I accept any new people into my company.
I understand. Assuming he fails a test like this, will he be returned to me hell and whole?
That will be up to you.
He will.
Most of the people that I'm around, they have forgotten that there are evil things that still lurk in this world, creatures and demons that trick the minds of men. But out here, perhaps it's still remembered.
Yes, none in the desert have forgotten such as you speak.
Excellent. So, take me to this man. We'll perform the test.
Okay.
And I'll accept him. If not, what you do with him is up to you, but he should be noted that he is untrustworthy and possessed by the serpent.
So he takes you to a man who he introduces as, he's the only other spotty English speaker from the men he has here, who he calls Anwar Abdel Wasa Baniyam, I suppose. So he's Anwar Abdel of the Wasa Baniyam, and he explains the situation to the man, and he looks expectantly at you.
First of all, peace be upon you, of course.
And upon you.
Repeat this following phrase after me, and I'll say the words taught to me so long ago by Mr. Merriweather.
Okay. He listens to it, and he says he must have one question answered. This is not an offense to God, is it?
Not to my knowledge. But I do know that it is an offense to vile creatures. That's why they cannot say it. They cannot speak it. And if anything is such an offense to the creatures that I've encountered and killed, then it must surely be fine with God.
Okay, so he kind of thinks it over for a moment, nods, and then he repeats the words to you.
If only I'd thought about such a thing in such a way not too long ago with Dr. Sala in his tent.
You make the decisions that come your way in the time you're given. Still his mistake.
Mm-hmm. So he says them?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, apparently you'll be coming with us for this next leg of the journey. I look forward to your input and insight.
Will we stay in the village a while longer yet, or when shall we depart?
I will have to talk to my boss on that, but I planned for at least 2 days here. We're on a bit of a time limit. Apparently Irem only appears every so often, or is at least able to be found every so often.
So you're thinking of leaving on the 29th then, perhaps?
Was it? We're the 27th? Yeah, that's kind of what I was shooting for. It would have been like the 28th if they just let us rest.
Right. They are holding up the show.
But depending on how all the player characters that are technically my boss are feeling, it might be the day after that.
Well, I think the 2 days guarantees that everybody with exhaustion will lose those levels.
Yeah, that's all I care about, and to be able to get enough food in the camels.
Yeah. You guys, I'll say you'll cover it with the dead camels you were able to slaughter. The only thing the village was short on was food, so you brought back, like a bunch of that. Perhaps shared it with them because there's really no sense to.
I forgot about
keep that much meat.
We don't have the means to preserve that much meat, but if the village can,
they can go about. They have the ability to smoke it. It just takes more time than you guys have to stop and wait for something to smoke. But they're very thankful for that, and as in return for that, they'll prepare it up like they did again, where they bring out these huge beds of rice over coals with the chunks of camel meat and what have you, and they feed everybody. So let me make some adjustments here. Now there is one little asterisk where those of you cocaine users would need an additional period of time to get rid of that last one, but as long as you stay on the train of cocaine, you can ignore one level of exhaustion. Oops.
Well, I had only used it that one time.
Yeah, I think you'll probably be give me a constitution roll. We'll see.
I'll kick this when we make it to Irem and have an actual time to sit around for a bit.
Okay. Yeah. So you managed to pull that off. I don't think Thompson was using any cocaine yet. Nope.
No, it wasn't.
He's been pretty good. Take Stanton down a level. All right. And then I'll check
if you guys want to kick that cocaine, you better start taking some heroin.
No, I'll just wait until the Germans invent speed.
Because this should be about the right, still the right era for it, right? Or was that still earlier, you think?
For what?
Getting people off cocaine with heroin, or maybe it was the other way around.
It's hard to tell, because, for the most part, it's what is it? Are we even in heroin yet? Are we? I think we're...
I don't know.
Because
heroin was still pretty early on, early 1900s, I thought.
Well, the problem is that every opiate was used to get someone off the previous form of it, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, if we're on heroin, that means it was to get you off morphine. If we're on morphine, it's to get you off opium.
This looks like 1898 they were using heroin. I don't know what it was. As I'm not. Can you hear me?
This has been a Deathwatch production. Thank you for listening.